Some of them right here in the Tar Heel State.
Notice street vendors are officially off the sidewalks, at least for now. Coming up, the community divide over the decision and the meeting that could shape what happens next.
Bojangles celebrating nearly 5 decades of serving the Carolinas. How a song on the radio turned it into a hometown legacy right here in Charlotte.
And we're live in Milan with just 5 days left in Winter Olympics competition.
We're going to introduce you to the Blade Angels and the mark they plan to make for Team USA. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC+.
It's a busy one out there. This is ID5 near Sam Wilson. People are up and starting their day. You can see it there. A couple things to know, though, before you do head out. We're still following this pedestrian accident. I'll be covering this on WCNC Plus from 7 to 9 a.m. This is on Wilkinson Boulevard at Boyer Street. And then another thing here. This is an injury crash reported on Beatties Ford Road. It is near Northwest School of Arts. It's between LaSalle Street and Oak Lawn Ave. This will be an injury crash where we do have some delays starting to build. Chris.
All right, we have two sides of this 7-day brought to you by the Jerry Hunt Supercenter. And it's the 60s and 70s before you start to see the 50s take over. And then you don't see it here, but next Tuesday and Wednesday do look to be freezing lows. So enjoy the warmth while we have it.
Yes, we will. Looking at those 70s. All right, before we go, here is your morning boost. It is the start of Lunar New Year celebrations. We are now in the year of the horse. Billions of people worldwide will join the 15-day spring festival. Celebrations vary, but there are some things that are in common, like a big family dinner, deep cleaning your home to get rid of bad luck from the past year. So there you go.
There you go. Now we know. All right.
Make
The
sure
news
you
continues. Coming up 7 a.m. Join us on stream WCNC+. streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off with a check of your forecast on this Tuesday morning. We are in a warm-up.
Yes, we are, and you already feel a little bit warmer, or you already will feel a little bit warmer later on this afternoon, but letting you know there are more clouds today. Still going to be great in the mid to the upper 60s. Our Louisville camera shaking around a little bit, but we are looking down at the valleys. A little bit of fog going on here. Not everyone is seeing dense fog. It's mainly the eastern side of our viewing area, which is what we are generally pointing at, but we see some visibilities down below a mile, specifically over in Chesterfield County. It's starting to drop with you around Salisbury, around China Grove, over in Rowan, and I think that's really where we're going to see most of the spots. In the areas west, you're seeing a little bit of development here in Lincolnton, but nothing too major. There are our current lows for the morning. We drop down to 38 degrees around Charlotte, 34 around Hickory, 34 around Rock Hill. So most of us at least above that freezing mark. And it's usually around this time, right before the sun rises up, that we have our morning low. So that might be it. Our outdoor lunch forecast, I suggest it. The clouds are just going to increase throughout, but then you transition from the 50s to the 60s. Going to be absolutely lovely. And we're 10 degrees above the norm, 67 today, 2 degrees warmer than yesterday. Just mixing in more clouds for the afternoon. So there's a chance that we have a mostly cloudy conclusion to your day. But there is one downfall, that we are now dealing with a medium threshold for our tree pollen. Now it's just elm, juniper, and alder that I'm seeing across the area, mainly elm and alder across North Carolina, by the way. But notice these values are anywhere from the moderate to the medium high range today through the rest of this work week. It's not until we really get that rain that it starts to kick things back down. But this looks like that we have an official start of tree pollen season. Sometimes it can happen in February. It happened last year. Well, we're doing it again. Now, what does pollen love? It loves the wind. It does not like the rain because rain washes things clean. Now, as we're actively starting to pollinate things, the winds are going to pick things up, especially by tomorrow. Strong wind out of the southwest up to 30 miles per hour, and we're going to stay consistently breezy during this time frame that is going to be a little bit cloudier and a little bit warmer. If we didn't have that southwest wind, the clouds would actually keep us from really warming up that much, but it will get us to around 70 degrees back-to-back days starting tomorrow and Thursday, and then we have the mid-70s, and if we get more sunshine, might even be in the upper 70s, approaching 80 degrees, but it just depends on how much sunshine we're going to get, but those winds of the southwest definitely going to help us out. I want to move right towards our biggest rain chance that we have this week, and that is mainly Friday night heading into Saturday. And it's this range of rain that has been all over the place as far as some consistency from the models, but this one's now starting to agree that we see our first signs of rain in the warm sector Friday morning in the afternoon. I think it becomes widespread by the evening heading into your Saturday morning as you have a pair of lows pushed past the area, and that's what really accentuates the rain, and then eventually you have that cold front that settles down. The only thing that could change is it could stall out, keeping rain around a little bit longer and into your Sunday. So stay tuned. But as of right now, Friday and Saturday looking like the wettest days of the week. And if the trend continues, we'll also be dry by the Ascent game. So good news on Saturday and a better afternoon. After that, well, we have the 50s and even right around freezing for back-to-back mornings to start off next week. So enjoy the warmer temperatures, even though it will be a little bit cloudier before we start to return to actually more like what January should have been doing. Okay, let's get right over to Majestic for our first look here on WCNC Plus.
A good Tuesday morning, everyone. It is starting to become a little busier. Kind of just depends on where you're traveling. This is I-485 right here out near Oakdale Road, where conditions, they seem all right, but you can see my map here. We have a lot going on. We're still following this pedestrian accident. One pedestrian involved in this. This is Wilkinson Boulevard at Boyer Street. Still not cleared yet. Then off to the east, this is something new here. It's an injury crash reported on Beatties Ford Road. It is right in front of Northwest Schools of Arts between LaSalle Street and Oak Lawn Ave. So learning more about that one specifically, we do have a bit of a delay building there. Slow moving ramp traffic, I-85 southbound to I-77 right around exit 38. So those are three important things to know before you head out the door. If you're coming in from York County in South Carolina, good morning. Your commute is looking just fine. Not seeing any big problems as of this time. Guys.
Majestic, thanks. Continuing coverage right now of the Winter Games in Milan. Team USA continuing to climb in that medal count in Italy. Check this out. We're now in third place now with a total of 19 medals, following behind the host country with 23 medals, and Norway taking the lead right now with 28 medals.
Now let's head out to Anne-Marie Tiernan, who is live again in Milan for us. And Anne-Marie, we're talking about Elena Myers-Taylor. She brought home that gold in monobob. What a great moment for her and her family.
I tell you what, Alana is just one of my favorite stories here. She's 41 years old. She is the oldest athlete to win a medal for Team USA. She's a mother of 2 little boys, Nico and Noah, who are up there with her celebrating. This is her 5th Olympics, and this is her 6th medal. She has won a medal at every games, but the gold medal is what was elusive. And the competition was just so close. She and Germany were just like fractions of a second, and by the end she won by 4/100ths of a second and got that gold. So happy for her. She's so grateful. It was so funny. Her quote was, "It actually happened." It's like she almost just kind of surprised herself. And I looked into her history. She played softball. So she was a softball player, and then she got into bobsledding, and she's going to be back up in the 2-woman bobsled. Of course, she's the driver. She's the pilot of the 2 women, and that competition starts on Friday and Saturday. And she's paired up with a rookie, really interesting. Jaden O'Brien, who is from Notre Dame, is going to be the pusher. And so that's really important to get that fast start. The pusher hops in, Alana, do your thing, and then pull that brake after they get to the finish line. So really cheering for that team as well. Could be another medal for Alana here in Cortina.
I love it because those 2 little young boys right now just think, oh, this is cool. In about 20 or 30 years,
Yeah.
they're gonna realize, oh my goodness, my mother was an Olympian when she was 41 years old.
And we were at the Olympics with her.
Right.
Wow, they'll have a whole new appreciation. Hey, quickly, let's talk about U.S. women's hockey.
Right.
It's what everybody's talking about, I feel like. I know my family text thread is all about it.
Yes.
What's next for them?
Well, we know that they're going to get a medal. We just don't know if it's going to be gold or silver. They are favored for the gold. They're going to be playing Canada, their arch rivals. They have met in the Olympic gold medal game for 7 times. Canada won the last time. They're the defending champion. But Team USA, in the last 5 matchups that they've had, Team USA has won. Team USA just really seems to be a brick wall. 5 straight shutouts here in Milan, and they are hoping to keep that momentum going as they get to that gold medal game on Thursday.
Played Sweden yesterday. People thought, oh, that might be a match for them. Shut out 5-0. So good.
No, 5-0. Yeah, right.
All right, Emery, thank you. We appreciate it as always.
Yeah.
All right, well, back here at home, residents in Valentine are gathering tonight. They're going to be protesting the creation of ICE detention centers here in North Carolina. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live this morning in Valentine. He is outside one of the companies that could be in charge of operating those detention centers. So, Richard, what are the organizers of this protest hoping to accomplish?
They want to stop the organization or the group that runs these private prisons from opening and changing a prison into an ICE facility in the state of North Carolina. That's why they plan to have this protest later this evening. Good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning, Ben. Good Tuesday morning to our folks on the Plus. Organizers say tonight's demonstration is part of a growing statewide effort to stop those 3 proposed ICE facilities in North Carolina, including one in the town of Winton. The Rivers Correctional Facility in Hertford County is owned and operated by the GEO Group. It's being considered for conversion into an ICE detention center. The Florida-based company is one of the largest private prison operations in the U.S. and contracts with the federal agencies and is the single largest contractor to run ICE detention facilities. The proposal became public after the ACLU filed a lawsuit raising concerns about transparency. Advocates say many residents were unaware of the plan and are now mobilizing. The Winton facility previously lost federal contracts in 2021 following reported safety issues. Now, protesters we spoke to say their focus is not only on ICE, but also on the private company behind this proposal.
GEO Group, half of their revenue is from these ICE detention centers all across the country. They're making billions off of detaining immigrants. And if that wasn't bad enough, they have a long history of human rights violations. They have a plethora of lawsuits under their belt, spanning many years, spending tens of millions of dollars for things like violating minimum wage laws, violating forced labor laws.
And they say that's why they want to protest. They say that protest will begin someplace in this area against the Geo Group today at 5:30. Now, we reached out to the Geo Group. We're waiting to hear back from them. When we do, of course, we'll let you know on all of our platforms, including right there in our mobile app. We're in Ballantyne. This is Richard Devane. We'll send it back to you.
All right, now, Richard, stay right there because we want to get back to that breaking news that we've been covering this morning. As you're aware, South Carolina native and civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away this morning at the age of 84. And Richard, we know that you knew Reverend Jackson, so give us your perspective and tell us what you know, what you can share about your time with him.
Oh, wow. My time with Jesse Jackson actually started as a college student back in 1988 when he was running his second time for president. Actually was contacted by some staff members of his when he was running, wanted me to be a student organizer. At the time I turned it down, but later did allow to, was asked and agreed to actually organize his visit to the campus of Grambling State University on that iconic day when he was trying to mend fences with the King family. Actually, his first time being with Coretta Scott King. And of course, over the years through this job and other activities, meeting Mr. Jackson, actually South Carolina NAACP decided several years ago to honor him for his work. And they asked me would I actually MC that event. At that time, the Parkinson's, as he said, was, in his words, kicking my butt. It was really tough on him, and I actually had to help pick him up and put him down every time he tried to sit down. He called me homeboy, as he's been doing for a number of years. Mr. Jackson I've met on a number of occasions. Actually knew his son, knew family members and things like that. While we didn't align always politically, I could say that he was a man who was deeply concerned about the African American community and the overall community, as of course the founder and operator of Rainbow Push and all of his work with the King family and the civil rights movements of the 60s. A great loss, something that a lot of people knew was coming, and they're sad for it. But of course, hopefully, as people will say, when anyone passes, the world is a better place for having been a part of it. And Mr. Jackson was somebody who did improve a lot of people's lives. Controversial person to a lot. Some people, even our photojournalist Ruben Wallace is an alumni of A&T, which Mr. Jackson attended. But Mr. Jackson touched a lot of lives, and for that, we're deeply thankful for his being on this earth with us.
He certainly leaves a legacy behind. All right, Richard Devane, thanks so much for sharing that with us. We are going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more streaming live here on WCNC Plus. time is now 7:15. CMPD is investigating after a deadly crash in East Charlotte. It happened at the intersection of Lawyers Road and Split Oak Drive, not far from Albemarle Road. This is some video from that scene last night. We are still working to find out what led to this crash. As soon as we get more details, we'll pass them along to you.
Right now, an urgent search is underway for 2 missing teenagers, one in Gastonia, the other in Matthews. Take a look at your screen. Police say 16-year-old Jamil Veracruz has been missing for a week. Last seen near Carolina Place in Pineville. If you know where she is, you're asked to call the number there on your screen. And now a separate search underway for missing teen in Matthews. Police say 17-year-old Olivia Sanchez last seen wearing a blue and white sweater and blue jeans. If you see her or know where she could be, please call the number there at the bottom of your screen.
This morning, we are working to learn more about a bomb threat at Statesville High School. As of right now, no arrests have been made. Monday's threat prompting multiple evacuations. Authorities tell us someone called the school around 8 a.m. claiming they had a bomb and an AR-15. Officials evacuated the high school and nearby Crossroads Early College while they searched the buildings. We're told no weapons were found. Funeral services will be held today for the Crest High School student killed in a car crash last week. State Highway Patrol says 16-year-old Parker Earl died after his truck left the road near Vic Wilson Road and hit a tree after it flipped over. Today's service begins at 2:30 this afternoon in the Crest High School auditorium. A burial will be followed at Double Shoals Baptist Church Cemetery.
New developments around Jail North. State and local leaders say they're serious about reopening Mecklenburg County's Juvenile Detention Center. The facility closed back in 2022. Since then, local teens have been sent to facilities in other counties. Now officials are deciding who should run it, with the sheriff's office emerging as the likely contender. But they need to make money to make it happen, and the center could require nearly 100 workers.
We're talking about maintenance, we're talking about food services, we're talking about mental health services and medical service. And then the biggest one that I'm going to always stick on is programming. You know, programming these kids, putting these kids in programming, and so they will return better to the society.
The next step is getting budget officers from the county, state, and sheriff's office in the same room to build a realistic plan. A major court ruling against the Charlotte Towing Company. The state says A1 Towing illegally booted and towed vehicles, charging some drivers up to $4,000 to get their cars back. The state attorney general also alleged racial targeting. Now the company must pay restitution to victims and is banned from price gouging, targeting drivers, or towing without proper permission. If the owner violates the order, he could owe the state $110,000. 7:18 right now. Today in Black History, we celebrate the birthday of a basketball legend with deep ties right here in the Carolinas.
Welcome back, everyone. I want to show you this shot. This is my favorite camera that I can see right now. You can see those fading out contrails, absolutely gorgeous. And then we're making our own condensation from some of the units on top of the government center here. But yeah, beautiful blue skies overall. But I want to talk about an interesting stat. So this was an easy lift. So I went through the 8. We've only had 8 measurable precip days, and 2 of those came with either ice or snow, and all of them have either been on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So this is anything that measures over 1/100th. There's been several traces, but honestly, that can just mean a sprinkle and really not too much at all. Sometimes even a light mist can do that as well. Well, it's really interesting because here in meteorology, sometimes patterns start to repeat themselves because look at this. Our next best chance for rain is Friday night, heading into Saturday with a chance of a bonus rain on Sunday. So yeah, no joke. Even though we do have an isolated shower on Thursday, I think that likely stays north of the Charlotte area. So yeah, we could continue the pattern. Still waiting for our first measurable rainfall Monday through Thursday, at least here in the Charlotte area. Some other areas have certainly done it, especially up in the mountains. Our precipitation chances are on the rise though for Friday and Saturday. I'm still keeping us kind of like a split ski here on Sunday because there are some indications that another system could sneak in, or this front in general could drape across the area. So I think one thing for sure, it's going to rain at some point on your Friday. It just depends on how long it's going to linger, and I think Saturday morning is shaping up to be pretty wet as well. We actually have a pair of low pressure systems that move through. Once this one arrives, this is going to be Saturday morning, that's where it really picks up the rain. A low pressure system just allows more lift, and that more lift is going to allow for more heavier rain showers. So I think the heaviest period right now looks to be Friday night heading into Saturday morning. There are some indications this could skedaddle its way down towards the south. Not seeing the sunshine right away, but at least it does start to clear things out for your Saturday afternoon. It just depends if it comes back or not. So just keep in the back of your mind that we do have a good chance to clear out, but also Sunday could be a wet one where we literally could have rain Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all 3 days. Our futurecast rainfall, kind of all over the place, but this model is the one that shows the most exceptional rain totals, up to another 1 to 2 inches, and that again would be Friday heading into Saturday, so we'll see. But the general consensus is really showing at least up to an inch for most of the Charlotte area, and then 1 to 2 further off towards the west. So that's kind of the benchmark where we're at right now. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has the warmer truth though. I'm loving these 60s and the lower to the mid 70s on Thursday and Friday. Bottom line, though, we're not going to see as much sunshine as we've seen today, and certainly compared to what we saw yesterday. So even though it might be on the cloudier side, it's a strong wind out of the southwest. It still gives us enough gusto to warm us up into the 70s. Enjoy it while we have it, because we're right back to the lower 50s Sunday, Monday, and heading into early next week. All right, Majestic, last time I talked to you, you had a few incidents. Now it seems like there's a lot more.
There definitely are a lot more things that are ongoing this morning. It is getting close to 7:30 prime time. Traffic hour as people are heading out and starting their day. Let's go for a few important things. This is something new for you right now. It's I-77. We have a crash there, southbound lanes at West Boulevard, right around exit 9A. It's a crash, however, it is off to the side. You can see this here. This is a live camera of that. So you can see cars right beside it. They're moving. They're just being careful and traveling a little slower, which is obviously good news. Once we're heading just to the north, this is another important thing. We're getting reports on an injury crash. It is reported on Beatties Ford Road near Northwest School of Arts, right between LaSalle and Oaklawn Ave. So we're trying to learn more information about that one. Those are 2 big important new things you need to know. We'll have another check on roads coming up soon.
All right, Majestic, thanks so much for that. Well, today in Black History, we celebrate the 63rd birthday of Michael Jordan. I can't believe he's 63. Born on this day in Brooklyn before growing up in Wilmington, North Carolina, Jordan went on to become one of the greatest athletes in history, still holding records like the highest career scoring average in NBA history. He led the Chicago Bulls to 6 championships. He earned 5 MVP awards. His ties to North Carolina, though, they run deep, from starring at UNC Chapel Hill to becoming a majority owner of the NBA team with the Hornets, and of course his racing 2311 Sports here in North Carolina as well. They just won on Sunday. Happy birthday to number 23. All right.
7:25 right now. Live pictures over uptown as the sun comes up. Gonna be another decent day out there, maybe a few more clouds. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning, everybody. Check this out. Beautiful blue skies, and we are anticipating an increase of clouds a little bit later on. But 34 degrees, that was our bottom here in Rock Hill, Hickory, 38 around Charlotte. We're at 39 now, but look at that. Actually, Lincolnton, you're the cool spot, 29 degrees matching Boone. But we're looking like this at least to start off the day. Increasing clouds heading into the afternoon, though. Temperatures in the mid to the upper 60s today. Some of us just trying to challenge that 70-degree point, just depending on the sunshine. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows the 60s go to the 70s. Better chances for rain Friday night, heading into Saturday before we see another cool down. All right, Majestic, you got an active morning commute.
Lots going on this morning. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. I am covering everything for you this morning on WCNC Plus, but I want to let you know about a couple of important things. This right here is new. It's on I-77 southbound at West Boulevard, exit 9A. That's where we do have a crash. It's off to the side, but cars are just moving kind of slowly and cautiously right around it, which is good news there. Another thing, this is right on Beatty's Ford Road where we have reports of an injury incident. It's right in front of Northwest School of Arts between LaSalle Street and Oak Lawn Ave. Not seeing big delays there with that. And then a new one, 485, the inner loop at Weddington Road. There is an ongoing wreck.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. First up, let's get a look at your weather impact forecast. Chris standing by. And it's going to be another decent day out there.
Yeah, we're anticipating the 60s. It's a warmer start technically for some of us. And then, oh yeah, we have a lot of blue sky, even though I'm showing you an image like, what are you talking about? It looks pretty cloudy. We're actually looking at a really cool zoom in that is right from Lylesville. We have a tower over there that is pointing down at some of that valley fog. So we're anticipating a little bit of that, and that's mainly pointing south because look at that. We have our thickest fog right over here around Chirac. Yesterday we were calling for the worst visibility from Raleigh really over to our eastern viewing area. Salisbury, you dropped down to about a mile, but then you are good. So it's really only Chesterfield and Lancaster County that dealing with that thick, dangerous fog, even though we are seeing a little teeny little spot right here around Morganton. We'll only be anticipating this for about the next hour or so. I think we've already hit our low for the morning. Maybe there's some adjustments for some of the 5-minute observations, but 39 degrees right now. We hit a low of 38, 34s for Hickory and Rock Hill, and 29 right now. That's the cold spot for Boone and Lincolnton. So a chilly beginning, but we should get much warmer going forward. Anyone going to the playground today? Well, letting you know that those temperatures are going to be nicely on the rise. Temperatures reaching the mid 50s by 11 a.m. and then lower 60s by 1 p.m. Now, we will get some more clouds blocking the sun from time to time. Also, a stronger wind out of the southwest, but still get enough strength to get us into the upper 60s. Here's what it looks like up in the mountains. Still a chance at around 60 degrees with sunshine mixing in with some clouds later on in the day. Morganton, think you're reaching 70 degrees. You're also known as the isothermal belt. So under the right conditions, I think you have a little bit more sunshine. You could get even warmer than what we're seeing here in the surrounding Charlotte area. I think we average everywhere from 67. I think we're going to have some 68s here in Mecklenburg County, and then anywhere from 67 to around 70 degrees further down towards the south. A decent day, but not as sunny the following days. I think overall tomorrow is going to be a mostly cloudy to an overcast one. Same thing for Thursday and Friday. If we get the sunshine, we could actually warm up to the upper 70s. So that would be fantastic, but it does come with some rain. So let's get there. Our futurecast showing an increase of clouds today. I think it holds off for the most part, but then by tomorrow morning, yeah, it's going to be mostly cloudy to overcast. Not a lot comes in as far as precipitation, but we do see a little sign of this right around the I-40 corridor overnight heading into Thursday, and then we'll see some spotty activity to begin your Friday, and then here it is. I think it's really late Friday into Saturday that's our next best rain chance. Right now, models, the general consensus is showing up to an inch of rain, with some showing a little bit more, 1 to 2 inches further off towards the west, and it's all associated with this. It's this cold front that moves through, and we're under what's called the warm sector. That's going to keep us so warm, but then all of a sudden, it moves over us on Friday night, and the big question is, will it stay or will it go now? And if it goes down towards the southeast, that's going to allow for us to clear up during your Saturday afternoon. If it decides to linger and turns in what's called a quasi-stationary front, where it kind of does one of these, then we're going to see prolonged rain heading into the weekend. So that's the big question mark that we have so far, but we are seeing a chance for some totals up and over an inch if it does linger. But regardless, Friday night heading into Saturday morning looks to be the wettest period of the week. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has the tale of two halves, the 60s to the mid 70s before we see the cool down to really the transition day on Saturday, and then back to the lower 50s with some freezing lows to begin next week. All right, last time we left off in the Majestic, a lot of icons. 'Tis the peak of the morning commute.
Yeah, we have a lot going on and even a couple of serious accidents. So here's my map putting into perspective how busy it is. Let's take it north of Uptown. This is going to be now a serious accident out near the Lake Norman area. It's a serious crash just reported. Parts of I-77 South currently blocked because of this crash between Brawley School Road, that's exit 35, all the way to exit 33. So if you take I-77 southbound, I'm going to figure out if all lanes are currently blocked or just if it's a few of those lanes that are currently blocked. Next up, we're following this one here. This is I-85 northbound, so heading towards Uptown. We have stop and go traffic for about 6 miles between exit 20 and exit 26, so out near New Hope Road. You can see how stop and go that is. And then the last thing to let you know is this here, I-77 again, southbound at West Boulevard. There is a crash here. I would say it's more minor. It's off to the side, but people are driving slowly to try to get around that. Guys.
Well, this morning, local street vendors are facing a bit of an uncertain future. The city pilot program in Noda has been shut down, but tonight vendors, business owners, and neighbors are going to weigh in on what they think should happen next. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live in Noda to break down the divide between those for and against banning street vendors. Destiny.
Yeah, many business owners and neighbors say street vendors brought a sense of community and culture to the Noda neighborhood, but the city has officially shut down the program. Now, anyone who is caught vending here without a permit can face a $500 fine, and tonight supporters will have a chance to push back. Noda's street vending pilot program ran for about 7 months before City Council voted to end it, citing concerns about sidewalk congestion, CMPD staffing during shift changes, and competition with established businesses. But some business owners tell WCNC Charlotte the vendors actually brought more foot traffic to the area, especially during the summer months. They say the street market created a buzz that helped draw customers who may not have otherwise come to Noda, and they've noticed a difference since it ended.
I think it brought like a lot of really positive community and good foot traffic. There's plenty of spaces around here that they could designate for anything. There's parking lots that aren't used half the time because businesses have weird hours. There's just ways that they could definitely organize it in a better and more positive way.
And tonight, neighbors, street vendors, business owners, they'll all have a chance to speak before City Council at a public feedback session. It's happening tonight at 6 p.m. at the Government Center in Uptown. And that's what you'll likely see. While there are people that brought up there are safety concerns in terms of the sidewalk sizes and things being blocked and it just being hazardous to have street vendors unpermitted, you'll also see a lot of people show up who say that the street vendors brought character to the neighborhood and that those benefits outweigh the cons to this program. I'll send it back to you guys live here from NODA.
A lot of people have some opinions about that one. Destiny, thank you. Power costs are rising fast, and a North Carolina energy task force created by Governor Stein to address the state's growing energy needs says something has to change to keep electricity affordable.
You probably noticed your power bills climbing up a lot in recent years. In fact, 30% in the last 7 years, and they're expected to keep on going up. In its initial report released Monday, this task force recommends creating specialized rate structures for large load customers. Translate that to mean places like data centers, so they can bear the cost for that high energy usage. The panel also encouraging what they call load flexibility, where those large users could reduce consumption during peak demand. Parents, listen up. CMS inviting families to learn more about how your tax dollars are being spent. Tonight at 6. CMS will host a community session at Hawthorne Academy of Health Sciences. District leaders will break down the 2026-27 budget process, where the money comes from and how it supports students. A virtual session is set for later this month.
7:38 now. CMPD is sharing details on a recent drug bust in southwest Charlotte. They tell us 60-year-old Dwayne Mungo was arrested on drug trafficking charges. He was in possession of several hundred grams of drugs. Mungo remains in jail. He has a $750,000 bond. New safety procedures are in effect at South Carolina State University. This comes days after a shooting on campus left 2 people dead and a 3rd person injured. Officials have announced new gate access rules they say will strengthen security. Under these new procedures, all vehicles entering campus will be subject to increased searches, regardless of entry point. Guest access is also limited. The school is asking lawmakers for $8 million for additional security updates.
A new batch of self-service DMV kiosks coming to Mecklenburg County. They'll be installed at a few Harris Teeters and Publix. An extra kiosk also being placed at the DMV office on Arrowwood Road. Officials say the kiosks won't fix wait times at the DMV, but it will help.
Every little step we take, the more we move online, the more things we do in the office to create efficiency, it's going to continue to drive that down further and further.
You can use the kiosks for tasks like renewing your driver's license or registration and paying your property tax.
Well, today is the last day to register a North Carolina absentee ballot for the March 3rd primary. Requests must reach your county elections office by 5 this afternoon in order for the ballot to be mailed in time. Now, if you miss it, you will need to vote in person.
Approaching 7:40 right now, the search for Nancy Guthrie, the family now officially ruled out as suspects. We'll share what comes next for that investigation.
The time is now 7:42. Minnesota investigators say the FBI is now blocking them from accessing case files related to Alex Pretty's shooting death by a federal agent. The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension superintendent says his agency was formally notified the FBI would not provide local investigators access to information nor evidence. This comes 1 week after federal authorities agreed to a joint investigation with the Minnesota agency.
The whole goal of any investigation is to get to the full truth as to what occurred. And when we're in a situation where there's evidence that could be shared with us and it's not, that's concerning.
The director says if the FBI changes its position, state investigators are willing to share information they've obtained and would welcome a joint investigation. The Minnesota agency was also shut out of files involving 2 other recent shootings by federal agents in Minneapolis. The search for Nancy Guthrie continues as the 84-year-old has now been missing for more than 2 weeks.
The local sheriff's department there in Arizona says the Guthrie family has been cleared as possible suspects in her disappearance. Gabrielle Bashara reports.
The focus on finding a suspect involved in 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's disappearance intensifies as Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos rules out her own family. In a statement, Nanos says in part, to be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in the case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. This comes after Nanos previously said he didn't plan to rule anyone out.
I wouldn't say anybody's ruled out yet, because what if I rule you out and then later I learn something else?
I asked a retired Phoenix police commander for his insight on this new development.
Why would you do that? Why would you call them out publicly and say, well, we looked at you? No, you don't do that. You just let it ride out.
As the sheriff rules people out, his detectives are also focusing in on the person seen on Nancy's doorbell camera video the night she disappeared, specifically what he was wearing. His backpack is sold exclusively at Walmart, and today the sheriff's department confirms his clothes could have also been purchased at Walmart.
It's outstanding that they've identified a primary store where that has come from, because that gives you an investigative path that you can now follow.
Jeffrey Hines tells me investigators are likely going through Walmart's surveillance video and purchase records.
That is something that gives them something to put their teeth into and just keep digging until they find that one lead that leads them to that suspect.
Another possible lead in the case, DNA found inside Nancy's home, which Nanos told NBC News doesn't belong to Nancy or anyone close to her. It's unclear if investigators have since determined whose DNA it is.
Also want to look for any family ties, any connective relationships that you get a partial hit, you get something that leads you to something else.
7:45 right now, and we are following some breaking news right now. This is over in West Charlotte. Live pictures right now from the scene. One person hurt in a crash involving a CMS bus. You see it right there on your screen. You've got the bus on the right-hand side, and then what appears to be an SUV and that silver car all smashed together, all in the middle of what is Beatties Ford Road. And if you look to the left right there, you can see the sign. This is right outside Northwest School of the Arts, a very well-known, popular school there in West Charlotte. CMS says the bus driver immediately followed all safety procedures and all students and staff are safe. But again, this is what it looks like in the middle of Beatties Ford Road, a popular, busy road. You know, on a Tuesday morning, lots of folks use it to come in or out of uptown Charlotte from North Charlotte. No word on what led up to the incident at this point. But again, most important thing, we know all students and staff are safe. Majestic's going to have more on this and how you can get around it coming up in just a bit. In South Carolina, officials have ruled the death of a fetus found at a water treatment plant as a stillborn. Workers discovered the fetus on Friday at a plant in Sumter County. Autopsy details released Monday by the coroner revealed the fetus was a male and that the gestational age was between 13 and 15 weeks. There's no trauma, and it's not being ruled a viable death because the fetus was premature and never took a breath. Authorities working to locate the mother. Officials in Pawtucket, Rhode Island say at least 2 people are dead after a shooter opened fire during a high school hockey game Monday afternoon. Another 3 people injured, and the shooting appears to have stemmed from a family dispute.
I can identify that there was one lone suspect, that this was a targeted event. It looked like it was a family dispute, and there was one individual that was a family friend. We can also tell you that a Good Samaritan stepped in and interjected in this scene, and that's probably what led to a swift end of this tragic event.
Officials say the suspected shooter was found deceased from a potentially self-inflicted gunshot wound.
It's time to go.
An investigation is ongoing.
Sometimes our tree pollen season starts in February. Well, guess what? That pretty much has happened, and it lasts all the way March through June with its highest intensity during April. Myself and Becca are going to raise your pollen IQ, exactly what's happening and what we can expect over the next week or even weeks.
Well, good Tuesday morning, everyone. Got a lot to talk about. We did issue a traffic impact alert for multiple reasons. First things first, let's take you up to I-77. This is out near Mooresville, where I-77 is completely shut down right now. Southbound lanes between Broadley School Road, that's exit 35, all the way up until Highway 21, that's exit 33. You can see the purple right there indicating that all lanes on I-77 are completely blocked off. We don't have a live camera look at that specific spot, but we are still learning that this is just a serious accident that has caused this part of I-77 southbound to be completely shut down. Then we're following this. This is I-85 northbound. You can see a serious crash here. Stop and go traffic for about 6 miles right here out near Belmont. Here's one of our live cameras showing you that specific accident. This is out near mile marker 24. Couple lanes will be blocked off as they're trying to clear that crash. Although you can get by, it's moving very, very slowly. Again, this is what we're looking at on I-85. Those are two important things you need to know. Another thing that I've been following for at least the last 30 to 45 minutes is this right here. It's an injury crash that was reported on Beatties Ford Road. It is near Northwest School of Arts between LaSalle Street and Oak Lawn Road. We are learning at least one person does have serious injuries. It did involve this bus right here. This is a live camera look of this where a photographer is there on scene. Again, Beatties Ford Road, it is a very well-traveled space. Lots of kids will be heading back to school today, so we're really paying close attention to this. This is why we are traffic alert. We have everything going on from I-77 north up by Lake Norman, Mooresville, and then also on I-85. But we will give you updates as we're still learning more about this. Another injury crash that is involving this bus coming up here in just a few minutes. Guys.
This week's warmer weather may feel pleasant, but for many, it also means a rise in tree pollen.
Meteorologist Becca Birdsall explains with the warmer weather building, allergy season is getting a jump start.
There's only one thing that can ruin this week's warmer weather. Say it with me. Allergies. Right now, elm, juniper, and alder are the main culprits and forecasted to rise to the medium-high range by the end of the week. These are early season tree pollens that thrive as temperatures warm and days get longer. In the Carolinas, tree pollen begins appearing as early as February and can last through May or even June, with symptoms typically worst in April. Warmer temperatures signal trees to release pollen. Added breezy afternoons and dry conditions, and pollen spreads even more efficiently. Morning hours tend to be the worst because that's when plants release the highest concentration of pollen into the air. Rain can temporarily lower pollen levels by washing it out of the air, but once things dry out, levels rebound fast. In North Carolina, oak pollen is typically the biggest allergy trigger. Other highly irritating tree pollens include birch, cedar, juniper, maple, and elm, all of which produce fine, lightweight pollen that's easily inhaled and travels far on warm, breezy days. While pine creates the noticeable yellow dust on cars, it's usually not the main cause of severe allergy symptoms. The smaller, less visible pollens tend to cause the worst reactions. When counts turn orange or red on the daily tracker, limit outdoor activity during early morning hours, keep windows closed on high pollen days, shower and change clothes after spending time outside, and consider starting allergy medications before peak season. With the Weather Impact Team, I'm meteorologist Becca Birdsall.
All right, you heard it. Whenever it starts turning orange or red, that's looking pretty orangey. So Friday is my official first orange that I have here on the map, but realistically, I brought these values down because sometimes I think they're over exceeding it. We might even be closer to the 9s, which would bring us close to that high level. But anything that's at a moderate, that would be the first time yesterday. And then we're going to stay in that range over the next 2 to 3 days. But yeah, definitely seeing these spike. And the only thing that's going to wash things away is, of course, the rain, and we will see some rain that'll chip these down for the weekend before they start to soar back up. So oftentimes, as we had just mentioned, Becca said it, that it usually will sometimes start in February. More likely it happens around March, but boy, is it happening earlier this year. So it's usually by about March 1st, putting this in perspective, that we're rocking the medium range, like what we have right now. Checking the calendar, it is February 17th. So we're about 2 weeks ahead of schedule here. And then usually, again, usually by the end of March, we're back to those extreme and high levels. But realistically, I think a couple of weeks from now, we're going to be at that high level just because everything is really accelerating. We technically need some of those cooler nights to help chip us down because typically, again, it's April that's the absolute peak, and it's around April that everything is covered in yellow. I'll have my full forecast coming up at the top of the next hour.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. 7:55 now, a live look over Uptown today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC Plus.
This morning we do have a traffic report. Take a look at your TV screen. We have a traffic alert for you. A car accident involving a bus. This is an injury crash reported on Beatties Ford Road. It's right near Northwest School of Arts between LaSalle Street and Oak Lawn Ave. Couple of cars are involved with this. CMS says that students and staff are all safe, and medic says at least one person has serious injury. So we're continuing to follow that for you on WCNC. Plus, again, that's on Beatty's Ford Road. Another important thing for you to know before you head out the door will be this right here. It's I-85 northbound right before Belmont. We're seeing a backup about 6 miles of stop and go traffic. So if you are taking those inbound lanes on I-85, it is going to be incredibly slow moving. You can see cars, they are moving, but they're moving very slowly. We'll have more on this all coming up in just a few minutes over on WCNC Plus. But Chris, what's going on with the weather?
Warming on up. Today's going to be a nice mix of cloud and sunshine. Then we have the 70s upon us. I think we have a slight chance for rain on Thursday, but realistically, it's scattered on Friday. More so Friday night heading into Saturday, and that cold front is going to cool us down through the 60s and the 50s we go. So enjoy the sunshine while you have it and the warmer temperatures. As Majestic just said, we're live streaming on WCNC Plus. See you over there.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We are traffic alert this morning for a couple of incidents. Let's get right to Majestic.
All right, good morning, everyone. Our photographer is here on scene. We're following an accident involving a school bus and 2 other cars right there. This road is completely blocked off. It's an injury crash. It's reported on Beatty's Ford Road near Northwest School of Arts between LaSalle and Oak Lawn Ave. It happened right in front of that school there. You can see the tow truck is there trying to clear those 2 cars. That bus is still there in the middle of the lane. CMS did say that all students and staff are safe. However, medics did say 1 person had serious injuries. So let's go ahead and switch over to my map right here. That's going to be the most important thing that we're following for you right now. We'll let you know once that is all cleared, but the best news with that is that most everyone is okay except that 1 person who did have to get sent to the hospital with that ongoing problem. Then once we take you out to I-85 northbound lanes, boy, it's really going to take you quite some time. You may consider taking Highway 74 instead because we have about a 6-mile backup of stop and go traffic because of another serious accident out near New Hope Road. So really between exits 20 and 26, it is going to be very slow moving. You can see this is what 23 looks like. I-85 at exit 23. Once you're heading northbound, that's where again those lanes are going to be very slow. They are moving. It's just going to take you even longer than it typically would if we didn't have a crash. Another new crash right here here is on Independence. It's actually going to be those outbound lanes at Harris Boulevard, so make sure you're mindful of that. Again, if you're coming in from South Carolina, not seeing any issues on I-77, York County heading into Mecklenburg County. Grab those sunglasses. You're going to want them this morning. Take it easy. Allow for plenty of drive time. It's busy out on those roads. People are heading back to work. Kids are heading back to class. We have a lot of congestion out there, so make sure you're paying close attention. Guys.
All right, let's get right to it. Nice mix of clouds and sunshine to start off the day. Yeah, we are picking up more clouds a little bit later on, but gorgeous. That's how we're beginning. And most of our Mr. Sparky Carolina camera network cameras are looking like this. However, we do have one exception. That is some valley fog that we're zooming into right here around Lylesville, and the winds up above rocking and rolling just a little bit. But yeah, some areas dealing with some dense fog. It's been mainly east of the Charlotte area down to a 2-mile visibility around Lancaster, and then around a 7 in Gastonia. So not too bad, but it's really the western side of the Carolinas that are shaping up to have this, and it's not great, especially around the I-95 corridor. 41 degrees. We're already warming up, so that's nice. Now the sunrise time is a little bit earlier. We officially usually from 7 to 8 begin our warm up. That's why we're back above freezing here around Hickory of 37, even though Hickory, you technically only dropped down to 34. It was more over in Burke County and Morganton that dropped below freezing. Still a freezing temperature in Boone, and then 37 for you in Rock Hill, but mostly sunny skies to begin the day, just picking up more clouds a little bit later on. I think most of the day is actually going to kind of look like this, and then we will transition over more to a partly sunny to a mostly cloudy end, but high temperatures in the mid to the upper 60s. So, all right, should be a little bit warmer than what we had yesterday. Check out these lows, though. 51 degrees by tomorrow morning, really about the 7 o'clock hours where we should be at this point. And then we rock in the 57 point for your Thursday and Friday morning, and then the mid 50s on Saturday. That's amazing. So we're above freezing until actually next Tuesday and Wednesday, as temperatures are going to be either side of 30 degrees. Where our high temperatures are trending are way above normal. We should be about 57. Well, we're 10 above that for now, and we're even up to 15 plus above that to almost 20 by this Friday. Where Friday, if we get some sunshine, it's not looking like a lot of sunshine right now, we could potentially challenge the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. So we'll see where that plays out, but the clouds right now keeping us in the mid 70s, not too bad. Then we eventually see a cool down back to the lower 50s. This is actually more of like the middle of January's average, even though January pretty much had everything going forward. But coming up the next time we're going to be talking about weather, we'll talk about the big what's new. Saturday's rain chances have increased, but just for the first half of the day. So we'll put our weather bookmark right here. Next time you see me, we'll go through our full futurecast from today leading through the weekend, when it looks like it's absolutely going to rain and how heavy it potentially could be. See you soon.
Chris, thanks so much. Residents in Ballantyne are gathering tonight to protest the creation of ICE detention centers in North Carolina. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live this morning in Ballantyne. He is outside one of the companies that could be in charge of operating those detention centers. So, Richard, what are the organizers of this protest hoping to accomplish?
They want to raise awareness, Lisa. Good morning to you. Good morning, Ben. Good Tuesday morning, folks watching us on the Plus. They also say they want to raise so much awareness that facilities or companies like Geo Group will not be able to operate these facilities, especially not here in the Tar Heel State. Organizers say tonight's demonstration is part of a growing statewide effort to stop 3 proposed ICE facilities in North Carolina, including one in the town of Winton. The Rivers Correctional Facility in Hertford County, owned and operated by the Geo Group, is being considered for conversion into an ICE detention center. The Florida-based company is one of the largest private prison operators in the U.S. and contracts with federal agencies and is the single largest contractor to run ICE detention facilities. The proposal became public after the ACLU filed a lawsuit raising concerns about transparency. Now, advocates say many residents were unaware of the plan and are now mobilizing. The Winton facility previously lost federal contracts in 2021 following reported safety issues. Protesters we spoke with say the focus is not only on ICE, but also on the private company behind this proposal.
Geo Group, half of their revenue is from these ICE detention centers all across the country. They're making billions off of detaining immigrants. And if that wasn't bad enough, they have a long history of human rights violations. They have a plethora of lawsuits under their belt, spanning many years, spending tens of millions of dollars for things like violating minimum wage laws, violating forced labor laws.
Yeah, and we reached out to the Geo Group for comment yesterday, and again, we'll do it today. We still have not heard from them. When we do, of course, we'll alert everyone in our mobile app. Again, protesters say they plan to start protesting at the Geo Group's headquarters here in Ballantyne tonight at 5:30. That's where we are. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard, then stay with us for just a moment because, as you know, the breaking news story, the big breaking news story we've been covering this morning, the death of civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson, a South Carolina native, died this morning at the age of 84. And Richard, we know that you knew Reverend Jackson. Share a little bit with us about your time with him.
Yeah, just Jesse Jackson, the Reverend. I've known Jesse Jackson, met him first when I was a college student in 1988. He actually, his campaign had asked me to spend a year actually working with the campaign, something that I didn't do, but I did say that I would, when he came to our campus and visited Grambling State University, I helped organize that event. And over the years, I've covered him many times. He always called me a homeboy, even though I'm not from South Carolina, but he always said homeboy this or homeboy that. Actually, remember speaking to him and how proud he was when the Confederate flag was finally lowered in South Carolina on that day. We spoke a few times. Always someone who would be willing to speak to the media. A man who was known for his civil rights activities, was starting out with Martin Luther King and the youth organizations back in the 60s and even in the 70s when he started with Rainbow Push. Someone who's run for president twice, as I mentioned. Somebody who a lot of people knew, a lot of people said good, and a man who had complicated life, but he know about his physical ailments in the last years of his life. Honored to be able to be part of to MC an event where the NAACP of South Carolina gathered together to honor him, to pay tribute to his lasting legacy, if you will, for the people of not just South Carolina but of the country. So it's a terrible loss for the people of the country. Someone who worked to make sure that people had equal rights, not just African Americans but people throughout the country. Very, very tough day for a lot of folks. One that a lot of folks saw coming, but still doesn't make it any easier. He'll be remembered.
We'll certainly have more on that throughout the day here on WCNC Plus and as well as on WCNC Charlotte. All right, Richard, thanks so much for sharing that. Other news this morning, CMPD is investigating after a deadly crash in East Charlotte. This happened at the intersection of Lawyers Road and Split Oak Drive, not far from Albemarle Road. This is video from that scene last night. We're still working to find out what led to this crash. As soon as we get more information, we'll pass it along to you.
Right now, an urgent search is underway for two missing teenagers, one in Gastonia, the other in Matthews. Take a look at your screen. Police say a 16-year-old Jamel Vera Cruz has been missing for a week now. Last seen near Carolina Place in Pineville. If you know where she is, you're asked to call the number there on your screen. Now to the other case. Another search underway for a missing teen in Matthews. Police say 17-year-old Olivia Sanchez, last seen wearing a blue and white sweater and blue jeans. If you know where she could be, call the number there at the bottom of your screen.
And before we head to break, here is an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey everybody, here at ShopTVDeals.com, we love to bring you products that make life a little bit better. And listen, we all have some kind of muscle soreness for one reason or another. So let me introduce you to this. This is the Pure Sonic Massage Gun. Love this so much. So easy to operate. Turn it here in the back and it comes in 6 different settings depending on the intensity level that you want. But even better than that, it comes with these 4 different heads here. You have this one kind of fork shaped for your neck, also a flat one, and also a round ball. But this is the one I love. They call it the Bullet because it really does target a specific spot. And for these knots next to my shoulder blade, I can't tell you how good it feels. You're really getting kind of a professional level massage from the comfort of your own home. Doesn't get better than that whatsoever. And then here you have another machine gun. This is the 6-speed, but this one right here, this is the 9-speed. You turn it on right here, and what this is really good for larger areas like your legs or even your lower back, just like this, which feels so good. Again, you can regulate the intensity, and this particular gun also works on your feet, which is so great. It really does feel good, just like you're getting a professional massage, but without all that expense, which is so nice. So here's the deal here. On the 6-speed, you're getting 36% off, cost you $44.99. On the 9-speed, 29% off, it'll cost you $49.99. Just scan that QR code or go to ShopTVDeals.com. You're gonna love this thing.
8:13 right now on WCNC Plus. This Black History Month, we are spotlighting those making a difference in the communities they serve.
WCNC Charlotte Siobhan Riley spoke with a Charlotte man who is helping families struggling with high energy costs and showing them how solar energy can be part of the solution.
The solar industry is one of the fastest growing fields in the country, yet African Americans remain underrepresented. But one Charlotte man is looking to change that. Inside this busy warehouse on Granite Street in Charlotte, the sound of a forklift represents hope. Nathan Roberts is carefully loading and preparing solar panels to send to people across the world.
It's more about education. We're not getting educated on going green, on living renewable.
Robert started his own business called Solar Cells USA 5 years ago to teach others why solar energy matters.
And it's important because we're not using coal, we're not using much nuclear, we're using more wind, we're using more renewable energy for the environment.
According to the Interstate Renewable Energy Council, 8% of solar workers are African American.
People are not interested because it pushes out those low numbers, but the job growth is there.
As the demand for clean energy increases, Roberts expanded his business to Africa 6 months ago. He wanted people without reliable access to electricity to see someone who looks like them leading the work.
Biggest takeaways for them in Africa is that they're learning how to add these solar panels to villages where there's no light at all. They don't have no electricity at all. And they're getting the battery backup systems with the solar. And so these villages are now having light when they didn't have light before.
It has been very impactful on our lives, especially from my community, because I do come from a rural area.
Tracy Kamboka works at the Kenya office. She says the installation of solar panels means families worry less about power outages, unbearable cost, and how children will complete their homework.
What does solar energy mean to people like yourself and people in Africa?
They're able to do their assignments. They do not have to use torches to light up their books so that they can see during the night. Some of them check to school early in the morning. So with solar, you can have hot showers in the morning.
For Robert, it's about more than solar panels. It's about showing people that when the lights turn on, so do possibilities and dreams.
It makes me feel that I'm doing something for the planet, that I can leave on to generations and generations to come.
Amazing work he is doing. And Roberts is offering classes to electricians, college students, and anyone else who's interested. To learn more, visit our website at WCNC.com. Back to you.
Well, the most dramatic type of solar eclipse is happening today. The so-called ring of fire occurs in only some eclipses. It's when, you see right here, the moon is far enough away to cover the sun entirely, but still appears smaller. That's when you can see that ray of the sun encircle the moon in what's really just a cool, spectacular sight. The bad news is you'll only be able to see it if you're one of the precious few people in Antarctica. Yep, which is probably not you. Unless you are part of our audience streaming right now on WCNC Plus in Antarctica.
That's right.
Although if some people in South America and Africa will be able to see at least parts of it. Again, not us, unfortunately. 8:17 right now on the West Coast under a severe weather warning. Chris, standing by to take a look next.
All right, good morning, everyone. Want to give you some updates on a very busy early morning commute. We've been following this wreck right here on Beatties Ford Road involving a school bus. And yes, there were kids in the school bus. That is since clearing, so we're starting to make some improvements here. Medics did say at least one person did have serious injuries, but CMS is saying all students and staff are safe, so it could be a couple of other cars that were involved and one person did get injured by that. So that is clearing. We're making some progress here. Still a big delay right here. I-85 northbound at exit 26, that's where the crash happened. It is backed up to exit 19 with stop and go traffic. So make sure you're being prepared for this. You are prepared for this, or consider taking Highway 74 instead. This is what it looks like on I-85. Again, all lanes are currently moving. They're just moving kind of slowly. Another new thing to let you know about will be well south of Uptown. It's going to be on I-485, the inner loop at Weddington Road. It's backed up to the Matthews exit, so about 2 mile backup. There will be some stop and go traffic with that one. We'll have another update all coming up here in just a little while.
Majestic things. The Pacific Coast bracing for multiple storm systems this week, bringing heavy rain and flooding concerns. Winter weather experts are already in place. The alerts are in parts of California, Nevada, and Oregon. Now that flash flooding, mudslides, and debris flows are causing some road closures, especially in the areas scarred by last year's wildfires. Northern California and the Central Coast have seen flooding, downed trees, and some power outages. In the Sierras, the heavy snow is creating dangerous travel conditions as this storm pushes into Nevada. Now, Chris joins us. I mean, we're looking at this, and it just seems relentless on the West Coast.
It's one extreme to another.
Right.
And you were mentioning about the fires. The reason why is whenever you have a scorched earth, essentially changes the chemicals.
Right.
So you literally have almost like a waxy slip and slide on top of that. So that's allowing a lot of washouts, a lot of situations like this, because you also have a lot of changing elevation that skiers are loving this because it's getting a lot of the higher snow totals. Right. But there's only so much that you can deal with. So let's get right to it. Here's what's happening over in California, what they've seen over the last 24 hours. We got a surging system. This is technically a mini atmospheric river that's associated with this. That's just driving a bunch of moisture that is just conveyor belt, allowing for rain shower after rain shower and snow after snow. So a lot of snow is falling up in the high country there. And then already seen over the last 24 hours, up to 2 to 4 inches of precipitable water. Some of that is all snow, especially just southeast of Sacramento into the higher elevations, and then just 2 to 3 inches north of Fresno. That's a lot of rain for them because typically they're starting to get into the drier part of the season, where it's actually usually around this time of year that we're starting to shift the Santa Ana winds, and then it's more of a fire danger. But instead, it's fire danger now with flooding danger. They just can't get a break on the West Coast. Meanwhile, for us, we don't really have too much going on. We have some clouds increasing further off towards the west, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Soon we're going to be under what's called the warm sector. So you have this big bad mambo jambo, which eventually is going to work its way a little bit closer to us. That brings us widespread clouds, and it will be cloudy for your Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday is a little bit subject to change. But our rainfall chances, they technically start on Wednesday night into Thursday, and then we see it Thursday into Friday, but it's more so this weekend that's going to have the highest potential, and we'll see how things change. So getting there, we start to see the clouds increase today, but it's more so, especially late afternoon heading into the evening, that we completely fill in the gap. So by tomorrow morning, I am anticipating an overcast start. You might have some glimmers of hope and a little spots of blue sky, but all in all, it's going to be a mostly cloudy to an overcast one. Here's that next chance for rain that arrives off towards the north, and well, things are frozen on me right now, but what's going to happen is you're going to have that area of rain that eventually is going to work its way down, and then I think it's mainly going to be along the I-40 corridor that we're going to see some of that activity. But some of the other situations that we're dealing with are really because of a widespread storm system that rolls through on Friday night heading into Saturday. So here's what that looks like. Sorry for the frozen situation that we got over here. Here's a look at some of the rain totals we potentially could see during that time frame. Once you reach about 5 p.m., up to about a 1/4+ inch of rain, but there is a possibility by Saturday afternoon we have up and over an inch of rain again, which is not great for any Saturday morning plans, but great for trying to catch up for some of that drought status. Full forecast coming up the next half hour.
On this day in 2014, The Tonight Show got a new host, Jimmy Fallon. His debut marked big changes for the late night staple. First, Fallon's rise represented the end of the Jay Leno era after 22 years. Second, the change brought this show to a new location, back to New York after 42 years. So happy 12th anniversary to Jimmy and the whole Tonight Show crew. All right, 8:25 right now, live pictures over Uptown. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning. Some upper level clouds joining us, some fading contrails, but all in all, it is a beautiful start to the day. We already hit our lows. That was 38 degrees around Charlotte and 34 for the Rock Hill area and Hickory. Well, look at our temperatures now. Really either side of 40 degrees, pretty decent, and back to freezing for you in Boone. Clouds increase through your lunchtime, but still should be some delicious eats. Talking about sunshine sandwiches served with a side of clouds. Temperatures getting in the lower to the mid 60s. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast. We have the 60s and then onward to the 70s, letting you know more clouds, even overcast at times for your Wednesday and your Thursday. The top looks to be Friday with our best chance for rain Friday night into Saturday. All right, things are starting to simmer down in the traffic world. What's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Still busy. We are following all of this morning on WCNC Plus, but let's still talk about really the most important thing that's ongoing right now. This is going to be I-85 northbound at exit 26. It is backed up to exit 19, so if you take this way, make sure you have plenty of time, or maybe consider taking Highway 74 instead if you're heading inbound. Here's one of our cameras. Again, I-85 at mile marker 23. Those lanes are moving. They are just moving rather slowly. We're going to be covering everything you need to know on WCNC Plus. We hope to see you there soon.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Let's get a look at your weather impact forecast right now with Chris. Another day in the 60s.
Yeah, it's going to be in the mid to the upper 60s today. Same thing tomorrow, and then even a shot at the 70s. So we're super zoomed in from our tower camera looking at the Queen City. You can see just a little bit of that light fog here and there. Is much heavier the further east that you go. And some other shots, beautiful upper level clouds mixing with contrails and blue sky over in Monroe. Seeing lots of sunshine over in Kannapolis, and we were just showing you near Charlotte. All is well there. Now, I've been mentioning this on and off throughout this morning. I thought this is a really interesting correlation. You might not realize it because we've only had 8 days that we've had a measurable precipitation. May that have been ice, sleet, snow, or just plain old rain. We've only done 8 times. What's really interesting is I looked at the day that correlated to that. We have now had all of those measurable rainfall, which is over 1/100th of an inch, happen either on a Friday, a Saturday, or a Sunday. And guess when the next big rain chance is? Friday, heading into Saturday, with a chance of it also jogging into your Sunday. So we're stuck in a pattern. And last time we really did this for the weekends was 2022, that 67% of all the weekends for at least the beginning of the year through spring had some sort of rain. And it really became a ridiculous stat at that point. And our rain chances show that Saturday is the most likely. I think it's really Friday heading into Saturday. But the big question mark is this storm system going to stay the night and maybe settle down for the weekend in the Carolinas? If it's in, it's out. We actually have a drier Sunday, and we can move this number down, but I still got about a 50-50 shot, just depending on what the front's going to do. So again, we're focusing in on this time period. Let's get there. We have this futurecast that's showing once this front rolls in, it's waiting for another low pressure system. So this little upper level low is going to drive enough energy up that's going to intensify the rain. So the heaviest rain that we are going to have is going to be late Friday heading into early Saturday. Now here's the scenario. This is either going to move down towards the south, as you're seeing here later on Saturday. That clears things out for the afternoon before we have another system that arrives, or it stalls out directly over us, and that's going to linger rain chances through your Saturday night into Sunday, and we'll be dealing with a lot more rain. Futurecast rainfall totals, even without it stalling out, still shows a chance at up and over another inch of rain. I think it's going to be either side of an inch, just depending. I think the general consensus right now, that was more of an extreme model, shows up to about a ½ inch to an inch of rain, with some higher totals up to about 1 to 2 inches when all is said and done. So our Jerry Hunt Superstar 7-day forecast shows the upper 60s to the lower to the mid 70s. Before we start to see that cool down, that cold front will chip us back down into the 50s and even some freezing lows to begin next week. So enjoy the warmer temperatures, even though we'll get a little bit cloudier over the next couple of days for the next 3 to 4. All right, back over to Majestic. So you improve one situation, but still very busy.
Exactly. Good morning, everyone. Let's get straight to a few important things you'll want to know before you head out the door this morning. A handful of ongoing issues as we're looking at my map, but this one here still not looking great. We have an accident on I-85 northbound at exit 26 specifically, but it's backed up all the way to exit 19. Again, stop and go to just slow traffic. Lanes are not blocked, they're just moving much slower than they typically would be moving if there was not an accident. Here's one of my cameras that kind of puts that into perspective, not specifically on the accident itself, but you can see the impacts, really focusing on the impacts of that accident on I-85 northbound. Another thing, this I-77 southbound this time, it's right between Brawley School Road, that's exit 35, and right at Highway 21, right around exit 33. We have medium impacts right there as that accident still is not cleared. Those are 2 important things you need to know for now. We'll have another check on those roads coming up soon.
Majestic, thanks. This morning, local street vendors are facing an uncertain future. A city pilot program in Noda has now been shut down. But tonight, vendors, business owners, and neighbors will weigh in on what they think should happen next. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live in Noda, breaking down the divide between those for and against banning street vendors. Destiny.
Yeah, there is a stark divide over this. While many business owners and neighbors say that street vendors brought a lot of character and culture to this neighborhood, the city ultimately decided to shut this program down. And now anyone caught here vending without approval could face a $500 fine. And tonight, supporters and people who oppose street vending will have a chance to push back. NODA's street vending pilot program ran for about 7 months before City Council voted to end it, citing concerns about sidewalk congestion, CMPD staffing during shift changes, and competition with established businesses. But some business owners tell WCNC Charlotte the vendors actually brought more foot traffic to the area, especially during the summer months. They say the street market created a buzz that helped draw customers who may not have otherwise come to NODA, and they've noticed a difference since it ended.
I think it brought like a lot of really positive community and good foot traffic. There's plenty of spaces around here that they could designate for anything. There's parking lots that aren't used half the time because businesses have weird hours. There's just ways that they could definitely organize it in a better and more positive way.
So tonight at 6 p.m. at the Government Center Uptown, that's when the public input session is happening, where neighbors, business owners, and street vendors on both sides of this issue can come before city leaders. We also know that the city of Charlotte is also considering expanding these street vending regulations so that they apply citywide. Live this morning in NODA, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Destiny, thank you. Power costs are rising fast, and a North Carolina energy task force created by Governor Stein to address the state's growing energy needs reports that something has to change to keep the power more affordable.
Well, as you probably noticed, electric bills keep on climbing. In fact, nearly 30% in just the last 7 years, and the trend is expected to continue. In its initial report released Monday, that task force recommends creating specialized rate structures for large load customers. Now, what does that mean? Let's talk about places like data centers, so they can bear the cost for all that high energy usage. The panel also encouraging what they call load flexibility, where those large users would reduce consumption during peak demand. All right, parents, listen up. CMS inviting families to learn more about how your tax dollars are spent. Tonight at 6, CMS will host a community session at Hawthorne Academy of Health Sciences. District leaders will break down the 2026-27 budget process, where the money comes from, and how it supports students. A virtual session set for later this month.
CMPD is sharing details on a recent drug bust in southwest Charlotte. They tell us 60-year-old Dwayne Mungo was arrested on drug trafficking charges. He was in possession of several hundred grams of drugs. Mungo remains in jail this morning. His bond is set at $750,000. New safety procedures are in effect at South Carolina State University. This comes days after a shooting on campus left 2 people dead and a 3rd person injured. Officials have announced new gate access rules they say will strengthen security. Now, under the new procedures, all vehicles entering campus will be subject to increased searches regardless of entry point. Guest access on campus is also being limited. The school is asking lawmakers for $8 million for additional security upgrades.
A new batch of self-service DMV kiosks coming here to the Charlotte area. They're going to be installed in a few Harris Teeter and Publix stores. An extra kiosk also being placed at the DMV office on Arrowwood Road. Officials say the kiosks won't fix wait times that we all know there at the DMV, but they will certainly help.
Every little step we take, the more we move online, the more things we do in the office to create efficiency, it's going to continue to drive that down further and further.
You can use the kiosks for things like redoing your driver's license or registration and paying your property tax.
Today is the last day to request a North Carolina absentee ballot for the March 3rd primary. Requests must reach your county elections office by 5 this afternoon in order for the ballot to be mailed in time. Now, if you miss it, you will need to vote in person. Lunar New Year celebrations kick off today. We're going to share the zodiac and what it symbolizes this year. While the nation celebrated President's Day on Monday, one South Carolina man had 100 reasons of his own to party.
Gianni Peterson met a World War II vet who just turned 100 years old.
I have so many people that love me, and I can't understand why.
At the American Legion in Murrells Inlet, Rudy Gonzalez was honored and celebrated for 100 years of life. Part of all of those years of life include being part of an air transport command as a radio operator in World War II, where he would fly propeller planes from California to Hawaii. And there's one story, he says, he will continue to tell the rest of his life.
Happy birthday. Thank you. One time I got a radio that wasn't working, and I worked on that thing for 12 hours to try and get it to work, but it never did. And when we were approaching Hawaii, everybody was in front of the plane searching for Diamond Head, which is the trademark of Hawaii.
During my sit down with Gonzalez, we touched on a lot. The war, the love he has received over the past few days, and most importantly, in his words, life after the war, being a lieutenant with the New York City Fire Department.
I had a peasant fireman who, the father is a good friend of mine, and he had pictures and everything, and all of the rescues I've made and what have you, and it was amazing, you know, and those are the things I want them to remember me for.
Over the past few days, Gonzalez says it has been emotional for him. He says there have been people he hasn't seen in decades from all over the country come here to wish him a happy birthday. But he wants everyone to know he's still got a lot left in the tank.
The trouble is, everybody treats me like I'm old. I don't feel old. You know, they treat me like they want to hold a chair for me. They want to help me up and everything like that. I don't feel that old, you know. But to make them feel good, I take their assistance.
Gianni Peterson reporting for us there. Muslims around the world are preparing to observe the holy month of Ramadan. The exact start can be a bit tricky because it's determined by moon sightings. Oman, Turkey, and Singapore have already declared it to begin Thursday, but many followers adhere to guidance from Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. They haven't set the date yet, but it could be either Wednesday or Thursday. Muslims honor the holy month by fasting between sunrise and sunset. Ramadan lasts for 30 days.
Lunar New Year celebrations kick off today as the year of the horse begins. Billions of people worldwide will join the 15-day spring festival. It's widely considered the most important event of the year in China and Chinese communities around the world. Traditions include a big dinner with family, cash gifts, and deep cleaning of the home to get rid of bad luck from the past year. The horse is one of 12 Chinese zodiac signs. Feel like we should be dancing.
I know, right?
Today is Mardi Gras, which of course means Fat Tuesday in French. A time to indulge before the Christian fasting season of Lent begins on Ash Wednesday.
It also marks the last day of carnival season. It's a big day down in New Orleans where there are parades, beads, and a whole lot of good food, from king cake to colorful costumes. It's a celebration folks look forward to all year long. As they say, let the good times roll.
Laissez le bon temps.
Perfect. I knew I couldn't say it.
All right.
Here. That's all I got. Well, Mardi Gras, it's going to be warmer, and then we have some rain. And here it is, our Mardi Gras forecast. I'm going to tell you how we compare to the motherland of Mardi Gras, right around New Orleans. I'll compare that and also let you know where we are going through this week, the big ups and downs you need to know about. See you soon.
Hi, this story Sprinkle time for Tuesday Tailwagger along with our friends at Animal Care and Control. Last week at this time we featured Wes, and that good-looking guy Wes is still there. Sweet dog waiting for his forever home. Let's bring on today's Tailwagger. Silas is his name. He's a big guy. Silas is about 60 pounds. He is 2 years old. He is house trained. He is crate trained. Loves to just hang out with his forever family. Hopefully he'll find it this week. By the way, he's eager to please. He's treat motivated and just a great dog. Always smiling, rarely barks. I would say that he is the perfect tailwagger. His name is Silas, available at Animal Care and Control, open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, both days, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Let's check him out one more time. Look at that face right there. His name is Silas. He's about 2 years old. He weighs 60 pounds, and Silas is our very special Tuesday tailwagger.
Thanks a lot, Larry. Well, happy Mardi Gras, everybody. By the way, these are beads. Of course, I know the way it comes, but these are guilt-free beads. I'm just letting you know. So actually, my producer, never mind. I got these in a good way. 67 degrees for today. 73 is what we have in New Orleans. So not really a big difference there. It's actually dealing with a little bit more cloud cover there in the meantime for us. I think we increased the clouds a little bit later on, but it should be a great forecast for us here, but then especially for the big party down in Louisiana. Our high temperature is closer for the Charlotte area. Check it out. Either side of 70 degrees, and then we will see a nice little warm up, even warmer than what New Orleans is going to see today, up to about 76, even 77 in some parts. That is going to be the top, and then eventually we see the gentle cool down, then back to the lower 50s, so back below the norm. Here is the big deal, though, in the forecast. So what's happening is we have a low-pressure system in a front that's going to arrive on Friday. So Friday, I think we have a chance for a little bit of rain, but it's more so when this settles out later on in the afternoon. We need a extra support system, this other low that drives in the most widespread rain. So the heaviest rain I think likely is going to be Friday night heading into Saturday. The question mark is, what is this going to do afterwards? If it hovers over us and stalls out, we have prolonged rain for the weekend. If it does this trend where we are starting to see some signs that it's going to do this, it'll move out into the Atlantic, hover right around the coast, maybe bring some rain down towards the south heading into Sunday, but most of the area will trend dry. This is also going to bring our pollen count down, but in the near term, we are seeing it surge, likely getting up to a moderate to high level for your Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but more so on Friday before that rain really starts to wash things away. That's the only way you can bring these values down. Put it in perspective, on Sunday where we had hours of rain, washout status, this number was at 8.7, so not a concern. Once you get up to around 6, if you are sensitive to tree pollen, especially to elm, juniper, and alder, you're going to be feeling it. You notice the difference. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows that even though we're getting warmer, well, the trees are like, all right, it's spring, let's do this. And that's why everything is just sputtering across the area. And then with more clouds expected for your Wednesday and Thursday as well. The only reason why we're warming up so much, usually when you have a cloudy environment, we start to cool down. You have a strong wind out of the southwest, so it's getting really breezy, even windy. Wednesday, Thursday, heading into Friday as we're in the warm sector of a storm system with that widespread rain, as I mentioned, Friday into Saturday, clearing out, cooling down, even some freezing temperatures returning early next week. All right, one more time here on WCNC Plus. Let's check your morning commute.
Let's do it. Good morning, everyone. Just before 9 o'clock this morning, and still so many ongoing problems. Let's get to it. Let's talk about something that's new this morning. Well south of Uptown, it's actually on Steel Creek Road, northbound at South Tryon Street. That's where we do have some delays that are building as that car accident just happened and is still lingering in the middle of the road there. Once we're heading off to the west, this is the accident that I've also been talking about for over the last 30 to 45 minutes. I-85 northbound. Remember, exit 26 is where it happened. It just cleared. However, we're still focusing on the impacts, and those impacts is that traffic is going to be slow if you're heading inbound on I-85, even slower than it typically would be if there was not a crash. As we're heading up towards I-77, this is between Brawley School Road, that's exit 35, and Highway 21, where there is a minor ongoing wreck between exits 35 to 33. So it's about a 2-mile backup right there. And then the last thing to let you know is a newer crash, Sharon Amity Road and Albemarle Road, southbound lanes being highly impacted by that one. Guys.
Well, you see them all over the Charlotte area, and this year Bojangles is celebrating 49 years of serving the Carolinas.
The idea that was sparked by a song started as a single restaurant in Charlotte back in 1977 and has grown into a Southern staple known for the biscuits, the fried chicken, and hospitality. The CEO describes Bojangles' experience as good food fast.
Part of what you get at Bojangles is that home-cooked meal that you remember from when you were growing up or when you go home. We don't have a microwave in our kitchens. We've got ovens, and we have real people crafting food with their hands. That's the best biscuit out there, honestly. And our chicken, our bold flavor, man, it's good. Like, I really want people to try our food and tell me how they feel about it, because I don't know better food than Bojangles. We're not fast food. We're good food fast. There's a big difference.
Over the years, the company has sponsored local teams, supported school programs, and shown up during natural disasters. Bojangles says its recipe is simple: Southern food, Southern roots.
Sometimes if you're in other parts of the country and you mention you're from Charlotte, they'll be like, Bojangles. You're like,
yeah.
That's right, Bojangles.
That's right.
Evidently, it's like a almost 50-step process to make the biscuits every single morning.
49 steps for those biscuits. So think about that the next time you have one.
Yeah, it makes you appreciate it a little bit more.
Right?
How about that? All right, folks, keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Up next, we're going to go over to the Live Impact studio. I believe Megan Bragg's going to join us there at the top of the hour. First, we'll have another check of traffic and weather right here on WCNC Plus.
Isn't this delightful? Lots of sunshine to begin our day. Already up to 46 degrees in Charlotte, 40 for you in Hickory. Seeing a lot of these upper level clouds. These are also an indicator that some sort of system's rolling in, so we will pick up more clouds throughout the day. High of 67, but then we will have a chance for a few of us to pop up to 70 degrees. Just depends on how much sunshine you're going to see. Very mild with increasing clouds. Only starting around 51 degrees. Amazing tomorrow. And then tomorrow, highs right around 70. Same thing goes for your Thursday, but definitely on the cloudier side. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows that warm up spiking on Friday. Best chance of rain Friday night heading into Saturday. Much cooler after that as we jog into next week. Let's see a final report here for our morning commute. What's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Beautiful start to the day. This is what I-77 continues to look like coming in from York County, heading up to Mecklenburg County. Conditions are looking all right if you're driving in South Carolina this morning. Meanwhile, we do have a few accidents a little closer to Uptown. This one here, it's new. Berkshire Boulevard inbound lanes approaching I-77. It is backed up to I-85. That means stop and go traffic. You'll definitely want to allow for plenty of drive time to get to where you need to be if you typically drive that way. And otherwise, this is what I-85 looks like out near mile marker 23. It will be slow moving.